Welcome to your online math class. In this video, I wanted to talk about some ideas of what to expect as we get ready to meet for our first class session next week, as well as get used to some ideas of what this class entails and how you might be successful and if it's really a good fit for you. So let's get started. So to begin with, what does class time look like in this class? So if you're anticipating a regular face-to-face class where you come to class and you hear a professor give you a lecture, and then you go home and work on problems, that's not necessarily what this class is. Instead, it's a bridge between a fully online class where you would watch videos and do all of your work and your test at home, and an in-person class where you'd have lectures and tests in class. So what we do instead in our in-class time together is we do group activities where we practice real world applications, and I put you in groups based on how much homework you've done and how well prepared you are for that class period, so that you're with like-minded people, and you work on extra credit activities that are also going to help you work with those real life problems that are sometimes tricky for you at first. So it's a good opportunity for you to practice those skills in a group setting. We also are going to be doing test review activities. I'll send out an announcement in Canvas 1 week before each test, and that's where you'll have a list of suggested ebook problems. And then in class, I'll put you in groups again, and you will work on problems from that selected list. So that'll be another opportunity for you to really ask questions and prepare well for your chapter tests, which will be in person and will be proctored. So again, we want to make sure that we are prepared for class and understand what kind of class this really is so that we're not caught off guard. So what do you do at home then in the meantime? Well, before each class, I recommend that you watch the videos that are in Canvas and complete my fill in the blank notes. Additionally, there's a program we're going to be using this semester called ALEKS, which is using artificial intelligence, and it will actually help place you in exactly the right material at the right time so that you are ready and prepared for the topics that you're working on. It's mastery based, so you're not going to just complete something once and forget about it, but rather you're going to be prompted to take these things called knowledge checks, progress knowledge checks throughout the semester to make sure you really are ready to move on to the next topic. It can seem frustrating at times when it holds you back, but it's because it's really a benevolent tutor trying to make sure you're really mastering skills and not just learning them for a quiz or a test. Speaking of quizzes, you're going to be taking your chapter quizzes in ALEKS at home, again, by yourself. And then you'll want to make sure that you also are preparing yourself well at home using the resources that we've talked about and we'll continue to talk about before you come into class to take your in-person tests and exam. So once you've got access to the course in Canvas next week, you're going to have a Start Here page, which will have my instructor bio. You can read about me. You can also download and print your syllabus and course calendar to stay on top of everything this semester, not to be caught off guard with any due dates. You can also find my notes and videos, as well as information on how to register for ALEKS. And hopefully you'll take your initial knowledge check as soon as possible before our first class. Again, in ALEKS, you'll find your ebook, your homework, your quizzes, and our up-to-date grade book. Whereas in Canvas, you'll have the overall grade, but it won't be up to date with all of the details. So let's head over to our class in Canvas for a moment. Okay, so when you log into Canvas, as soon as the course is open to you, you should scroll down to the Start Here page, where you'll find our overview for the class. All of our learning outcomes will be listed there, which is always a great idea for when you're preparing for your final exam. You'll find my bio, and eventually you'll see this video posted there as the orientation. And then you'll see this What's Next section, and that's going to have another place to find the syllabus, as well as over here on the tab here, and our course calendar. You're going to have information on how to register for ALEKS directly. Below, you'll find more information about that. And it'll prompt you to take your initial knowledge check when you do register for ALEKS. We'll talk about that in a moment. There's a video here if you'd like to watch that to kind of show you what the initial knowledge check is all about. But the basic idea is you want to get credit for everything that you remember from college algebra or your previous math classes, so try your best. But we want to know what the program is, know what you know, not your best friend, not a tutor, not anyone else, but you. So make sure you do it by yourself, have a pen and paper ready or pencil and paper, and you can use a basic calculator, but make sure that you are prepared to take it and try your very best on it. See what you remember from college algebra and what you're going to need some more work on. Then once you've done that, you're going to be in a good position to start working on your topics for week 1. And you can find those topics in ALEKS itself. It'll tell you which sections we're working on, as well as in my announcements. I usually remind you of that. You'll find in chapter 1-2 module, that will be our first module. You'll find all of my notes and videos as well, and I'll point you to those in a moment. So here's your information on how to register in ALEKS. Make sure you read through that. You'll have your individual class code to get into the program, as well as a 2-week free financial aid code in case you're waiting on your financial aid to come through to purchase your code. Remember, you can purchase it directly through ALEKS, which is the fastest, or you can purchase it through the Valencia bookstore, but then you might have to wait for shipping, and that sometimes makes students fall further behind. So you want to get that as soon as possible. Let's go ahead and click on our first module so you can get an idea of what it looks like here in Canvas. So our first graphs of polynomial and rational functions, and you'll see all of the topics that we will be covering there. You'll also see what I expect of you outside of class. You are expected to complete your notes using my videos below. I also have them all on my YouTube channel. So if for some reason Canvas is ever giving you trouble with these videos, you can find them on my YouTube channel under the pre-calculus playlist. You'll also see here that you are going to have to complete a lot of stuff in ALEKS, your homework assignments, which are tailored to how much you need for each week. So there might be 25 topics for the first week, but maybe after taking the initial knowledge check, you already remember some of these topics. And so you might only need to do 17 of them. So it just depends on your individual level. Okay. Now, these knowledge checks will also impact how many topics you'll have to do. So every so often, you'll be prompted to take a progress knowledge check. So you have the initial knowledge check, then you have progress knowledge checks, and then you have post-test knowledge checks. You'll read more about that later. But they're constantly trying to assess what you remember, what you've really mastered, and what you need to work on. And then we'll also have one quiz per chapter that you'll take in ALEKS. It doesn't test you on the entire chapter, but on a portion of it, just to see how you're progressing and to give me an idea of how we're doing in the class. Finally, you'll want to prepare for your tests as well. So here's where you find all of my notes. I always recommend students print out the notes if they're going to be taking them to see a tutor, or if they want to have their notes printed in their folder. And one way to do that is using the PowerPoint. You can print 2 slides per page. This is a pretty good idea. If you're going to be using a tablet or any sort of writing online device, the PDF version is usually a better fit for that. So I give you both there. And then each video, you can speed it up, you can slow it down, you can stop it, pause it, go back and forth. They are long videos because they are in place of you attending class and a lecture. But they have lots of examples in them, and students typically find them very helpful. So feel free to make me talk as quickly or as slowly as you wish. So those are all of your notes and videos for your first chapter. And then at the bottom, sometimes I'll have these extra videos, which I've done in the past for students who get stuck on homework problems. So you can benefit from all of these other problems that students have asked me about in the past, and some other maybe college algebra material that might be helpful. Then it'll prompt you at the bottom to go to ALEKS. So let's go ahead and head over to ALEKS and let's see what you would see for the first time if you've never used the program before. You would want to sign up as a new student. And there is a video, like I mentioned, on that Start Here page that walks you through how to do that. Once you're signed up, it's going to prompt you to take a knowledge check. That's the initial knowledge check. It'll be 25 questions. Again, try your best. If you don't know something, there's actually an option that says, I don't know. I always recommend that you pick that option rather than to try it. If you really don't know something, save yourself time and frustration. But if there's a chance that you might know it, then I would definitely take the time to do so, because it will save you homework time later on that week or in future weeks. Now, once you completed it, you might do great. You might have some memory of material. You might not have as much memory of material. So let's take a look at what it looks like for me, for example, when I tried this as a student. It showed me that I knew 17 out of 147 topics for the whole course. So I have 130 to go. So that might seem daunting, but it also breaks it down for you which areas of the pie you have already completed. So I did pretty good on algebra and geometry review. And I knew a little bit of other things like exponentials and logs, but maybe I forgot them from college algebra, so I'm gonna need a little more work. And same with polynomials. Apparently I forgot a lot of that. Graphing, I did okay, but I need a little bit more practice. And some equation stuff, I did okay and need a little more practice. So once you're ready to start working in ALEKS, again, you should watch your videos, use my notes. But if you wanted to look and see what the path would look like, ALEKS will prompt you to the first thing that they think I'm ready for, right? They'll give you a nice little screen here, which is kind of like the learning area. They'll give you examples. There's all kinds of resources on the side. They have their own videos. They have their ebook that'll pop up to this area. You can print the page, et cetera, et cetera. And then you'll notice here at the top, it'll tell you how many in a row you have to get right. Now, there are some times where if you get 3 in a row perfectly, it'll like accelerate this for you. And other times it'll say, you need the full 5, just depending on how you're doing, okay? And so if you're ready to start factoring, maybe you start with that. But maybe you're thinking, you know what? I think in her notes, she said we were supposed to be doing 1.7, 2.2, and 2.3 this week. So maybe I want to start with piecewise defined functions. Well, the cool thing about ALEKS is you can go to this carousel up here in your path, and you can actually scroll left and right, and you can stop when you find something you're interested in, like piecewise functions. You could also go to the filters area and search for piecewise functions. That's something you want to start with. And as long as it's an open topic, it'll let you start there. Notice there are some that have a little locked part. That means I'm not ready for them yet. So I would have to actually work on some prerequisites first. And then you'll also see there's this little goal topic. That means that's one of the ones that I have assigned. Other times there's something called a prerequisite topic where it's not necessarily pre-calculus, but it might be lower level algebra skills that I might have to work on before it lets me get to my goal topic. So that is the basics of how to get started in ALEKS. Again, it can seem daunting at first, but it does give you a lot of cool information on the side here about how you're doing. You have reports that are pretty helpful. They tell you how much of the pie you finished. It talks about how long you've spent in ALEKS. I also can see this, so I know how much you've worked on. And if you get stuck on something, your tutor can help you and they'll see exactly where you got stuck. So it's pretty helpful there for professors and tutors to help you out. It'll have a grade book. It has your list of assignments. And I think typically it'll be upcoming assignments, but you can also close that and see other assignments that are coming up. Okay. So that's the basics with ALEKS for now. We'll talk more about it when we see each other in our first class meeting. But at this point, I just wanted to get you familiar with the basic setup of the course, make sure that this is really a good fit for you, and remind you again that to be successful for this course, you're going to have to be willing to watch the videos at home, complete your notes in Canvas. I don't check your notes, but that is going to be important for you, is to build a nice set of notes as you're preparing for your in-class tests. And also when you're in class and you're doing your activities, it will be helpful to have some good notes. And as well as completing all of your homework and quizzes and ALEKS each week so that you are ready to go in class and on your day of your test. So if you have any questions before we see each other in our next class, please don't hesitate to reach out by email. Otherwise, happy practicing and good luck on your initial knowledge check. Bye.